It's time we told you about 2 car accidents we had as 16-year-olds.
I'm Lily from Nashville, Tennessee. Let's talk about that.
Good mythical morning!
This episode is brought to you by the Rhett and Link store, where you can get merch, including our movie on DVD, t-shirts, shoes, and music.
And when we say music, we are including our recent release, Vanilla Wafer Top Hat Time. You don't have to have Vanilla Wafer Top Hat to have Vanilla Wafer Top Hat Time. All you gotta do is get the song, put it on your MP3 player, because that's a generic term.
I think they get it. Just go to
iPod is branded.
Just go to our music page. It'll link out.
Player.
It'll link out to iTunes.
MP3 player.
They understand.
Do you understand?
They understand.
Please buy it.
Okay, guys, it's time to delve into the archives of our collective Rhett and Link memory and share a couple of stories.
Accessing memory.
Tomorrow, we're going to engage in the age-old debate of what should be the legal driving age. So to whet your palate about all things driving age, we thought we'd share some stories of back when we came of age, driving-wise.
Yes. Well, in North Carolina, you get your learner's permit at 15, and then you get your driver's license at 16. So, in an earlier episode, actually an episode of Good Morning Chia Lincoln back in last year, we talked about the first car I ever received, the Omega, and I purposely killed the Omega. But the Omega was then replaced with a Dodge Dynasty. It was a blue Dodge Dynasty. I loved everything about it.
There were many of them in a lineage of great cars that are of very boxy nature, hence the name Dynasty.
Well, it had a nice bullet shape on the front and then a nice boxy shape on the back. It looked like a classic kind of style for an upstanding man such as myself. Anyway, I got the thing and I said, Link, let's go for a ride, because when you get a new car, you got to go test it out. And
I don't think I had my driver's license still when you got the Dynasty.
Because your birthday was in June, was at the end of the school year. And so this was during the school year.
So I was subject to you picking me up even once you got the Dynasty. So you picked me up this day, and it was the first day with the nasty.
Yeah.
Got to take that thing out and do what you do when you get a new car and you're 16, right?
Go off-road in your sedan.
It was not a four-wheel drive vehicle.
But for some reason, we thought the only way to test out a vehicle was to take it on this dirt road that had a 90-degree turn.
Well, it was right off of it cut the corner off of Harnett Central Road that met the road. I can't remember the name of the other road.
Right, that went down towards your house.
But so it was like this, and then you could cut off here, and the road kind of went. It would dip this way and then come back that way. And so there was a big corner in it. And it had a big banked turn on it with a big ditch on the side of it. It was like off-road NASCAR with the banking and everything,
We were technically on a road, but it was a dirt road.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were in a sedan that should not be driven like this, especially by a 16-year-old who has no idea how to turn back into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we get up to, 45, way too fast to be going around a 90-degree turn in a sedan.
And it's thrilling because I could look behind me, you could look in the rearview mirror, and it was like you were a James Bond movie. You would just create a smoke screen. If there was anybody behind you, they
were enveloped in dust.
They were enveloped.
Well, we come up on the turn, and all I know is the turn is to the left, so I must turn the wheel to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing else. That's all I'm going to do is turn the wheel to the left. And as I begin to turn the wheel to the left, I realize that the car is not going to hold the turn, if you know what I mean.
It's like riding on ice, basically.
Yeah, so I said, well, I'm going to do what any 16-year-old would do in this situation. I'm just going to slam on the brakes. And I slammed on the brakes, and that was when the Dynasty began to... Well, I think it did one full 360. It kind of came in the turn, and it's like... And then it ended up perfectly straight.
Yeah.
As if, okay, let's keep going.
We made it. And then... So that's... Yeah, let's not gloss over that. It's not every day that you do a 360 on a gravel road, a dirt gravel road. I remember just being so flabbergasted. I don't remember there being much conversation. It was just kind of... Well, we were on different seats. You were over here and I was over there.
I was driving.
But we looked at each other and there was no conversation. And it's like you might have just kind of winked at me and then kept going like, I meant to do that.
But I didn't keep going because I was I wasn't that cool. I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to keep going. I stopped and we got out. And that was when I noticed that the front left wheel tire was completely under the car.
But the tire was under the car, but the wheel was not.
The tire had been taken off of the wheel and put under the car, leaving the car undrivable.
So at this point, this was before the age of cell phones, kids. So you just can't whoop out your phone and call whoever you want.
Whoop it out.
You start scanning the horizon. Now there's farmland everywhere, and we realize, what are we going to do? The first thing is, what can we do to fix this so that your parents don't find out about it?
That's the main thing that you're thinking.
And ultimately what we came up with was, well, I know about 1.5 miles that way, if we walk through the field, we will come out at Miss McClam's house. Now, Miss McClam was our 7th and 8th grade year English teacher and math teacher. And so we walk as the crow flies through the field, come out at her house, and just knock on the door.
Hey, Rhett and Link here. We're in high school now. She doesn't teach us anymore, but her husband, Stuart, comes to the door, and he's like, hey, boys.
We kind of knew him.
Well, he knew he didn't know why we were there. Hey, boys. And we're like, Mr. McClam, we got a problem back here on the dirt road at that turn.
He says, I'll help you out.
I just said I got a flat tire. I didn't tell him, I was going 45 and did a 360 and the tire went under the wheel.
He says, I'll help you out. There's no need to get anybody else. And we're like, yes, the parents don't need to know. And I think he kind of understood that. But he gets out there. He's like, whoa, this is pretty intense.
Yeah.
And so, he gets the spare tire out of the trunk of the car. And before you jack up the car to put on the spare tire, you got to loosen all the lug nuts to get the rim loose before it's jacked up. That's the proper way to do this thing. So I remember he got out the tire iron, and he puts it on, and we're just standing there watching. We could have done this ourselves.
We didn't know anything.
No. So, and that's what I was thinking, wow, I could have done this myself. Until he puts the tire iron on there, it won't go. And then he was, we
had torqued it a little bit.
So then he stands on the tire iron and gives it all he's got to loosen the lug nut. And he gets it. He gets it.
But then we look closely and realize that he hasn't gotten the lug nut off. He has stripped the lug nut.
Totally stripped it.
He has rendered this thing complete. You can't get it off anymore. So now I have to call my dad. I have to go back to the McClam's house. I have to call my dad and say, Dad, we need a tow truck.
And every time after that we saw Stuart McClam, he kind of had this kind of apologetic look on his face. Like, it was our fault. I think our stupidity our ineptitude, I will say, must have rubbed off on him when we brought him into the situation. I'm not going to blame Mr. McClam.
We were asking too much.
But, it just, the ineptitude rubbed off on it. But then, a few months later, I get my license. Now I have a 1987 Nissan pickup, manual drive, 2-seater bench seat, red.
1987.
What did I say?
You said 97.
I meant to say 87, and I think I did say 87. The tape will tell the truth. Anyways,
okay.
So I go and pick up Rhett. It's my turn. I got my license. He gets in the truck. No discussion. We know where we're going to go. Back to the same dirt road.
The test track.
Now, my truck, it was a truck. It wasn't a 4-wheel drive truck, but it was a truck. So I'm not going to just stay on the dirt road. I'm going to go into this farmer's land on like a 2-track thing, and I'm going to go around. And so we were whizzing around the tree line.
Taking jumps.
Around fields, like little jumps and stuff like that, having a ball.
Oh, it was awesome.
No seatbelts. We're totally stupid.
Yeah, first of all, don't try this at home.
This is so stupid.
This is mid-90s, early 90s North Carolina. We had no sense. We probably had our shirts off and no seatbelts. There's like just a couple of rednecks in a truck, okay?
I don't even think we owned shirts.
That's this is the funnest thing I've ever done in my life, man.
Yeah,
do it again.
High-fiving each other. And so then...
You don't want to be like us.
And I remember there was a certain point where the main dirt road curves, and that's where you had your little incident.
Right.
And then the farmer's path comes along, and it's like an asymptote. A function approaching this asymptote. It comes right up to it.
Pretty good, Link.
But there's this ditch, a huge ditch in between the two. So I'm approaching the same turn from the other side. So I'm turning right. And I'm turning right, and I'm not going to make the same mistake you do. I'm not going to slam on brakes. I'm just going to...
Keep it going.
Just keep it going. And the back end starts coming over, and I just give it more gas, and we're about to make it. We're turning the corner, and then at the last second, I feel the front left tire and the back left tire start to go. And we were teetering on the edge of the ditch. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Boom. Next instant, we weren't moving and we were foof. And I'm a little stunned. And I look over at Rhett and I realize he's right here.
Because we're on our side and there's no seatbelt, so I just fell on top of it.
I looked past Rhett and I could see the sky.
It's like
the
this
truck
is the
was
sky.
totally sideways. And Rhett was totally in my seat, spooning me.
Well, no, I was on the side. It was like this.
You were spooning me, man. It was weird.
I wasn't spooning you. I was just going like this.
And I looked at you, and I don't remember if we said anything. At points like that, you don't say anything. You just
No. Well, I remember
figure it out
very vividly. We laughed. We just sat there and laughed about it.
like
It was
just
like-
go.
and then I got up and you boosted me out through that window.
You had to climb out like climbing out of a manhole.
And then you came out, and then we were like, how are we going to get out of this without the parents finding out?
Well, and I said, well, I know we shouldn't walk to Stuart McClam's house.
Yeah, we know what happened last time with that.
So we walked. There was another house built by this time in between, just if you went a different way down the road. And we knocked on that door and then called my mom, who called her dad, my grandfather, Clyde, who showed up with Cheryl's wrecker service. And then the wrecker hooked up with this long chain and pulls the truck out, and no damage to the truck at all. It didn't hit, the bottom side didn't hit the ditch. It just kind of nestled in there. So I pulled it out, drove away. Only thing I lost was my pride.
Yeah.
Having my mom and my granddad there.
But you gained a good story.
I gained a good story. Learn from this, people.
That's kind of our opening argument to tomorrow's discussion about what the driving age should be. You can decide for yourself whether we're pro or con 16.
Yeah,
driving age.
we'll discuss it tomorrow. Right now, we're going to end the episode. Where does it stop? Spin again.
But again, we
I'm
need more.
spinning slowly.
We need more suggestions for you guys.
Blooper reel. Here we go. Okay, we're going to end this, and we're not going to get anything wrong.
Okay, so this is as if we're having a blooper reel from the episode that you just saw, okay?
Now, I thought this was the ending is going to be a blooper reel. Like we're trying to end it, and we keep messing up.
Oh, okay, that's even
Yeah.
better. All right, this has been awesome, and we
Tomorrow to see ya.
see you semester day.
All right, guys, thanks for...
And that's why... What's my line?
Have you seen my glasses?
Has my shirt been like this the whole time?
Oh, man, look at that. I got a sweat spot.
Well, just keep your arm down.
Oh.
And like we always say... What do we always say?
G-double-M, good mythical morning. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that.